So many of you know that this is one of my favorite days of the year. It is my favorite church festival because for the most part, it is a church festival. It's not a cultural festival. And I have joked many times about that I have never received a Hallmark card for All Saints. That ended this year. Somebody just was really good. And I want to tell you, it was a card that came in the mail from our group called Exploring Loss. And it's a group that gathers together and kind of honors their grief. They meet together on a weekly basis. Because All Saints is a day in which we celebrate life, the fullness of life. Many times we have baptisms on All Saints, but we also read our necrology, which is all of the people that have died in our community in the year. And so we celebrate the whole breadth of life. And so they sent me a card on this All Saints saying that they were praying for me as I thought about my folks on this All Saints weekend. And I will tell you, I laughed and I cried. It was a great card. So now I cannot no longer say I have never received an All Saints card. But this work of All Saints, I believe it is a work that is so important in our time because it requires us to be present in a way that we, as humans, we do distraction well, don't we? We kind of, it's very hard to be present. At least it is for me. Maybe you're great at it. But now we have these devices that are in our hands that, you can ask any question and, you don't even have to have, intelligence because there's artificial intelligence. And there's all these distractions that are everywhere. And I'm not saying, oh gosh, technology. I'm just saying that it's hard to pay attention. And what All Saints, the gift of All Saints, for me, is that it calls my attention. Because more and more, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, is that one of the ways that I think the most beautiful way to show someone that you love them is to give them your attention. And so I want you to think about the saints that have been in your life. All saints. It's a day in which we remember. And that word remember is such a powerful word. It's not just a head exercise, it's a whole being exercise. It's when we remember, to stitch together, to put together. So remember those saints that have shown you light and love and God in your life. They paid attention, didn't they? They saw you. It's an amazing gift, isn't it? To receive, to be fully seen. Those stories that kind of evoke in you, and it's those people that, one of the funniest ones was a friend of mine from childhood when he found out that I was going to seminary. He laughed so hard. Laughed. Not like, oh, that's hilarious, Rob. He was doubled over. And he came up, he goes, oh my gosh, that is awesome. He goes, you'll be a mess. And I was like, yeah. And now, this was 30 years ago, he said, he was right. And there was just that being seen in that moment. Because the laughter wasn't at me, it was for me. It was with me, and a little at me. So I really encourage you to look in your life and think about those saints that have seen you. And then remember that that's your work. That you are someone's saint. You might go, oh, not me. No. You don't get to do that today. We are all children of God, and we all have work to do. And it is going into this world and spreading this light, this love, this hope. And it is not just kind of, oh, that's nice. No, it is life-changing. It is so important for this world right now. The way in which we can see one another and call out the light that is within us, sometimes with holy laughter, sometimes with a harsh word, because kindness sometimes isn't just nice. It's going, hey, stop doing that. One of the things that I've noticed that with the saints in my life that I remember is that one of the things that characterizes their life is hope. And I've realized that this word, kind of like love, has kind of lost its luster a little bit, because what we tend to think of when we say hope is like wishful thinking or optimism. And I'm not talking about that. Hope, the hope that I'm talking about, I commend this to you because I have a friend that I have never met, and she is one of my saints. Her name is Krista Tippett. You know that person? She is a podcaster and does these interviews and it's called On Being. It used to be through NPR, but I think she's on her own now. But I've never met her, but oh my gosh, she is one of my dear saints and friends. Because every time I hear her voice, my blood pressure drops. You know those people that can talk and just kind of tell stories, and she's so good at interviewing people. And recently I listened to like a 6-part episode where she stitched together some old interviews on hope. And she talks about this, but this idea that hope is not just wishful thinking. It is a way of life. It is the way we practice our life. We have a faith that says that we hope, that we believe in a love that is stronger than death. Think about that for a second. Let that get into you. Because when I actually step back, and the bishop, yesterday we drove to Whitefield, which is a long way, for convention, and it was beautiful up there, but he has a blessing in which he reminds us of that every time, that love that is stronger than death. Every time he says it, I get goosebumps. Not because it's like, oh, that feels good. It's like, oh my gosh. Because think about how that informs my life. When I can own that and when I can say, yes, that is who we are. That kind of hope is fearless. Is fearless. Because on this All Saints, when I think about it and when I can kind of get down in the dumps and I can kind of go, oh, golly, what I've realized is that the common strand throughout our culture right now is worry and fear. Talk to anybody on any side of any aisle. They will say, and yet we have a faith that says we have love that is stronger than death. Even the ghosts agree. I guess you all turned in all your pledge cards. We turned on the heat. But this hope is not just optimism, wishful thinking. It is a practice. It is resistance of the powers that be. It is a way that drives us to move our feet, as we've heard so many times, to get into the action. And I again call you back to the saints in your own life who have called you to this kind of action. I can fall away when I look at all of the things that are going on in the world. I can kind of want to put my head in the sand or run away. but we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses. That phrase is an All Saints phrase. We have ancestors that have gone before us, and there are people yet to come that have lived in this tradition of hope that is not failing, hope that leads the way we live. For example, an example of the hope that I'm talking about is that this week you might have heard that there's a lot of funding that might be going away for SNAP, which is food stamps. 1 in 8 Americans receive assistance so that they can eat. I was a little shocked by that number, but it's accurate. And what I've seen this week is that people have gone, oh, we can do something about that. That type of hope isn't about saying, oh, well, the government's got to take care of me. It's about saying, no, we need to take care of we. And it is a we. There is no them. We deny that to our peril. And so we as a church with Gather and other partners are going to do food drives. Thanks to people that said, hey, we can do something. That kind of work is part of this hope, a part of seeing each other, a part of seeing. It's not about helping those people. It's about being a community and realizing that when one of us suffer, we all suffer. And when one of us rejoices, we all rejoice. So today, this All Saints, you probably won't get a card. But I hope you will take some time. Take some time and really reflect on the saints that have seen you and have called out the divine spark in you and said, yes, I see you. And I also hope you will reflect and see where you might be those eyes for somebody else. And that we might, as a community and as individuals, remember daily, moment by moment, that we worship a God who loves us more than we can ask or imagine, and that love is stronger than death. So let us live lives that are characterized by hope, that people see us and go, yes, that. I want to be a part of that. Happy All Saints. Amen.